Pope Francis is rolling out the red carpet for a blasphemous filmmaker who wants to make another movie about Christ. Joining us now, Church Militant's Rome correspondent, Dr. Jules Gomes. Jules, Pope Francis welcomes all sorts of anti-Catholic celebrities into the Vatican. Who is it this time?
At this time, Brad, it is none other than Martin Scorsese, who earned universal notoriety for his 1988 film, The Last Temptation of Christ.
So we're talking about the guy who created one of the most blasphemous movies ever made about Christ. Catch our viewers up to speed on this film and why exactly is it so scandalous?
Well, listen to what one reviewer had to say. Apparently in the movie, Christ is a mere human being, not a supernatural entity who has the same desires as any other man. And after being crucified, Christ is visited by someone he believes to be an angel. She tells him you can be a normal life. He takes the opportunity, gets married to Mary Magdalene, and grows old like a mortal man. Later, it is revealed that this angel is Satan. Christ repents for taking this path in life, and God turns back the clock and allows him to die as preordained.
Wow.
This is not the Jesus of the Gospels.
Wow, that's wrong on so many levels. What was Scorsese at the Vatican meeting Francis specifically?
Well, he is in Italy, and on Saturday he participated in a Catholic conference organized by Georgetown University. The conference was titled Global Aesthetics of the Catholic Imagination, and the famous Jesuit editor of La Civiltà Cattolica, close friend of the Pope, Father Antonio Spadaro, interviewed Scorsese on Saturday afternoon, and Scorsese and his wife Helen Morris were welcomed by Pope Francis for a private audience at the Vatican.
Well, of course, cameras were snapping pictures of that all over the social media. What did Scorsese have to say about this meeting, this high-profile meeting, highly publicized meeting with Pope Francis?
Scorsese said that he was so encouraged by his meeting with Pope Francis. By the way, Scorsese claims to be Catholic. He even thought of becoming a priest at one point in his life. And Scorsese said that Pope Francis actually encouraged him to make another movie on Jesus. So the filmmaker is so enthused by Francis's encouragement that he is launching out. He says he has already launched out on, Jesus Part 2.
Wow. Okay. Well, let's go back to this movie that he already made, this Last Temptation of Christ. Weren't there several sexual scenes in the movie that just outraged Christians?
Absolutely. So one of the scenes includes a fantasized sex scene between Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Incense is burning. Mary washes Jesus's bloody wounds from the cross, and the two begin to kiss. Then it flashes to Jesus's kissing and, basically enjoying himself on top of Mary, and Mary whispers in his ear, "We could have a child." Martin Scorsese's Jesus, on the other hand, reviewers tell us, is characterized as passive, weak, and perpetually debilitated by fear. Also, very importantly, and academic works have been written on this, Jesus finds comfort not with a woman, but with another man, and that man is Judas. And academics have had quite something to say. In fact, this relationship between Jesus and Judas in the movie is now being looked at in the Department of Queer Studies as a homosexual relationship, or possible homosexual relationship between Judas and Jesus.
Wow, just wow. Catholic leaders, they protested the movie, didn't they?
Absolutely. In fact, this is what Mother Angelica, founder of EWTN, had to say. She said that anyone who goes to watch the sacrilegious film will be committing a deliberate act of blasphemy and thereby choosing between heaven and hell. Mother Angelica also predicted that America will come under heavenly chastisement. I mean, even the United States Catholic Bishops' Department of Communication said that the movie was morally offensive. And Bishop Anthony Bosco, the department's spokesman, said, "I looked in vain for the message of love. Scorsese has given us an angry Jesus, a bumbling Jesus, a Christ more of this world than the next." And by the way, this movie is based on the book by Nikos Kazantzakis, a Greek who was excommunicated by the Greek Orthodox Church and denied burial in Greece in 1957. And Archbishop Yakovos of New York, leader of the Greek Orthodox Church there, he called the film the fantasy of a sick human imagination disavowing the Christian belief in a perfect and sinless Christ. I mean, there you have it, Brad. Christians of every denomination, evangelicals as well, protested this movie and boycotted it.
And now Scorsese, instead of being excommunicated, if he's even much of a practicing Catholic, he's actually being encouraged, you say. He says he's encouraged by Pope Francis to make yet another movie about Christ?
Well, what else do you expect if this Catholic conference hosts him? The top Jesuit in the world today, the closest Jesuit to Pope Francis. In fact, Pope Francis's spokesperson, Spadaro, interviews him, and then Pope Francis welcomes him with open arms and basically, nudges him in the ribs and says, "Hey, how about another movie on Jesus? We enjoyed the first one." I mean, Brad, how bad can it get?
Jules, just personally, do you think that Scorsese's meeting with Pope Francis was intentional in order to drum up interest in such a future film?
Oh, definitely. It is a publicity stunt, and it's already got the media wheels turning, full steam. And if Pope Francis is endorsing Scorsese and endorsing this movie, reviewers and critics will be waiting to see what he has to say in the next movie.
Yeah, it's going to be tough to push back on that as well, because of the fact that, they'll just point to Pope Francis and say that he's endorsed this or he's given his green light and approval. So I don't know how to even pump the brakes on that. But, I don't know, Jules. This is getting more deep by the time. But thank you very much for your reporting on this story. And I hope faithful Catholics will protest it as soon as it even starts to come to light.
Thank you, Brad.